It's duct tape dress season. If you are not aware, Duck brand duct tape holds a scholarship competition every year where people either make dresses or tuxedos out of duct tape. When I was a senior in high school, I did this and I made this dress. Disclaimer, I made that 3 years ago. This is not a recent project, but I thought it'd be fun to sit down and do a little story time on it and talk about my experience making the dress and also entering the competition. If you've stumbled upon this video because you want to enter, I have advice for you. So either stick around for that or you can just skip to it. I'll put the timestamp right here. I want to preface this story by saying that I did not win, and I am not at all trying to take away from what other people created. In fact, I'm really happy for everyone who's ever won this scholarship or made it into finals because it's a really cool opportunity and people have made some really fun things. By making this video, I also do not want to tear down or be a bully to Duck brand. I do have a little bit of beef with them, I'm not gonna lie to you, but seriously, no hate, I'm just sharing my experience entering. Here's how it works. To enter the competition, you can either make a dress or a tuxedo out of Duck brand duct tape because it's supposed to be for prom. They used to have a rule where you actually had to wear your duct tape attire to prom, which is kind of ridiculous and also really limiting, so I'm glad that they changed that rule. After all the submissions are in, a panel of judges from Duck brand reviews every entry using this rubric. The top 5 scoring looks in each category are the finalists. Finalists each get a $1,000 scholarship, and then voting opens to the public to determine the winner in both the dress and tux category. These two winners get $15,000 each, which is a lot for making a thing out of duct tape. Back in my day, it was actually $10,000 for the winners and $500 for each finalist. So $10,000 were on the line. I was a senior in high school when I did this. Throughout the year, I was looking for scholarship. I had entered a few essay ones, but I didn't win any of them. I wanted to enter something that I knew I had a shot at. I'm not a very confident person when it comes to a lot of things, especially when I was in high school, but for some reason, I was so convinced that I could win. I got really obsessive about it, and my last month of high school, all I was thinking about was this dress. I remember sitting in class and reading the rubric over and over again, just looking at the Stuck at Prom website and thinking, this is what I'm gonna do, this is how I'm gonna do it, we're gonna get it done, and I am going to win this $10,000. I was obsessed. I had an extremely busy schedule, so I didn't actually start the dress until I was out of school. The last day of school was at the beginning of May, and then the deadline for submissions was on June 8. So I had about a month to make the dress, and here's how we did it. Hi, my name is Emma, and this is how I made my duct tape dress. I started with a sketch, then to make the skirt, I wrapped an old trampoline in duct tape. Before deciding to use the trampoline, I had tried to create the body of the skirt with table covers, paper mache, even chicken wire, but the trampoline is ultimately what worked best. Moving on to the top, I knew I wanted it to look like a corset, so I made a pattern out of paper, covered those pieces in duct tape, and then stuck them together. Then I rolled some brightly colored duct tape to put in the seam areas to make those stand out. To make the giant butterfly on the back, I cut the shapes I wanted out of paper and wrapped them in duct tape. Then I made paper stencils for the details, traced and cut those shapes out of duct tape, layered them, glued them together, and onto the butterfly wings. For the sleeves, I cut a template out of an old table cover and traced it onto the table cover attempt of the skirt that hadn't worked out, so I got to repurpose that. Then my good friend Manny tried it on. Now for the most time-consuming part of making the dress, the butterflies. I cut out 4x4 inch pieces of paper and covered them in duct tape, and then cut the extra off. After that, I did a little bit of origami in order to create the 3D butterfly shape that I wanted. To create the details on the butterflies, I laid a piece of duct tape down and used a tool to cut triangles out, and then I stuck those triangles on the butterflies. Overall, I made about 500 butterflies and hot glued them everywhere, all over the dress and the accessories. Here are the boots. I used a pair of rain boots and then covered them in duct tape, and I'm obsessed with how they turned out. To make the rings, I wrapped duct tape around already existing rings and then stuck some origami butterflies on them. And same idea with the earrings. For the crown, I bended some wire and hot glued more butterflies onto it. Overall, I had a blast making this dress. In the past, I've made dresses out of fabric, so duct tape was a fun and very different material to work with. That being said, the process involved a lot of trial and error, but I think it came together well in the end. I'm really thankful for the opportunity to have done this. Thanks! I submitted it on June 7th. Right before submitting, there was a screen that showed the little paragraph I wrote, my video, and the photos that I wanted in the order that I wanted them in. A few days later, when my entry appeared on the Stuck at Prom website, my photos were in the opposite order I intended them to be in. If you're familiar with the gallery, it just shows one cover photo for every entry, and then you have to click on it to see the other photos. Because of this, my accessory photo was shown first, and then my favorite photo of the dress was at the bottom. That, of course, shouldn't have been that big of a deal, but me in my very obsessive and anxious state was very concerned by it. It was a competition, and so I wanted my art to be presented in the way that I intended it to be viewed. So I emailed them about it. I just mentioned my mistake of putting the photos in the wrong order. I was very nice about it. I asked if it could possibly be changed. I didn't hear anything back. A few days later, I'm checking the website once again to see the entries that are rolling in, check out the competition, and I noticed that they had just deleted my accessory photo. They didn't email me back, they didn't change the order of the photos, they just eliminated the accessory photo altogether. If you recall the rubric I showed you a few minutes ago, accessories is one of the graded categories. I was like, what if the judges don't even see my accessories? They're not going to because there's no accessory photo. I was kind of frustrated about it, but there was not much I could do except for email them again, which I totally did. And once again, I heard nothing. The next date on the timeline was June 23rd, and that was the day that Duck Brand said they would be notifying finalists. And then the finalists would be announced to the public and open for voting on June 29. So there was this 6-day stretch where I was really hoping for a phone call. I remember checking my email constantly and checking the actual mail probably once every 2 hours. I got so antsy that I even messaged another girl who entered. I saw her TikTok and I DM'd her. At that point, she hadn't heard anything, but she ended up winning the whole thing. Speaking of TikTok, I downloaded it specifically so that I could post the dress, so that just in case I made it into finals, I would have some voters. And TikTok really did not disappoint. People were very kind and supportive, so thank you for that. June 23rd came and went, and so did the 24th through the 28th. And then the next morning, I finally had to accept that I was not one of the finalists, but 10 very talented and deserving people were, and I'm very happy for them. And I gotta be honest, at that time, I could not say that. I was very, very angry and frustrated, which, like, I had no right to be. Looking back, I really don't know why I was so salty about it. I don't know, I think people on TikTok were really gassing me up and they gave me big expectations. So I did at the time feel very, like, let down by the situation, and I feel like they did me dirty. But looking back, it was a competition and I didn't make it into finals, and that's how competitions work. And I don't know, it feels really good to have moved on from it finally, because seriously, I was so bitter about it for so long. Hence why I'm making this video 3 years after it happened. With all that being said, here is my advice if you're planning on entering. You may be wondering, why would I want to take advice from somebody who didn't even make finals? The people who make mistakes and fail are sometimes the best people to get advice from, because they can tell you exactly what not to do. The first thing you should know is that by entering this competition, you are becoming a pawn in Duck Brand's game, which is really dramatic, but I'm just saying that they put on this scholarship to get people to buy duct tape and to get conversation building around their product. It doesn't mean you shouldn't enter, it's just something to be aware of. Number 2, make something original. Butterflies, not original. People make butterfly dresses every year. So design something that's original that you're also really excited about making. I truly think that that's the key. If you're not excited about it, then there's no point in entering. Number 3, use the rubric. But remember that this is not a school assignment. Do not try to follow it like a textbook. In fact, if you look at the winning looks, they kind of have interpreted the rubric in their own way. For example, one category is colors, and a lot of people entering, including me, read that as, I need to have a ton of colors because that's what the judges want to see. But Grace, the girl that won the year that I entered, used black and white, just 2 very contrasting colors, and that made her dress stand out. So read the rubric carefully, but through your own eyes. organize. Think of how you can stand out in a positive way. Number 4, if you are playing a more strategic game and you just want to win, enter the tux category. There's always less submissions, the competition seems to be a bit more tame, so just enter the tux category. Number 5, the most important piece of advice I can give you, do not put your worth in the results. If you're anything like me, you put like everything into a creative project, and when people don't receive it the way that you want them to, it kind of sucks. Which is why it's so important to evaluate the reason why you create, because it should not be for validation from others. That's kind of a bigger conversation for another day, but the point is, you might not make finals, you might not win. It's okay to be sad if that happens, but do not think that you're less than anyone else just because you didn't win. You are so amazing and so loved, and you do not need a scholarship competition win to tell you that. Okay, I think we got it. Pump up the jam, pump it up. Blah, 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 blah. No. Okay, let me just crawl into frame here. Every time a bee flies by, I'm like scared for my life. Hello. You're so cute. Oh my goodness. Okay. Maisie, do you have anything to say?